Hi everyone. The platform that I record this on literally just deleted everything that I recorded. So let's try this again, shall we? Welcome back. I'm very excited to be filming season 2. Thank you all for being here and for listening. I really appreciate it. It's been a long time no see because I pre-recorded those mini episodes. So we're going to catch up. Also, you may notice that I'm in a different space. My brother moved out, so I was able to convert his room into a studio space. I added like movie posters that I created myself of my favorite fat films. My mom got me a poster of my logo for my birthday, and then I painted the background pink because why not? And so yeah, I'm very excited that we're in this new studio. It just feels right. So I'm gonna do a little catch up with me since it's been a while. So if you're not interested in that, here's a timestamp to go to just start the episode like we normally would. So for me, I've been very busy. I've been doing this podcast, doing photography on the side. I have a part-time job as a teacher assistant at a daycare. I have been doing my own media stuff, trying to build my platform. I've been helping a local community theater with their media for their upcoming shows. It's been a lot. I wish that I could just do the media stuff because as much as I love the kids, that is what my degree is in, and it's something I'm very passionate about. So I really hope that I find a job soon and I can move and just learn more about myself and grow in this industry that I want to be in. So yeah, I've just been applying to a lot of jobs. Unfortunately, haven't heard back from very many, or if I do hear back, it's been a lot of no's. So just please send your good vibes and just all the goodness this way, please. Like, I really, really need it. Thank you. So I guess let's get into this week's topic. So this week we're going to talk about Heathers, the movie from 1988, and also Heathers, the musical, specifically the original off-Broadway starring Barrett Wilbert Weed, just because that's the one I'm most familiar with. So I know more about that production and that character, that version of the character that we're going to be talking about. Yeah, we're going to focus on that one. So, a little synopsis in case you haven't seen the movie. Veronica Sawyer is part of the most popular clique at her high school, but she disapproves of the other girls' cruel behavior. When Veronica and her new boyfriend JD confront clique leader Heather Chandler and accidentally poison her, they make it appear a suicide. Soon Veronica realizes that JD is intentionally killing students he does not like. She races to stop JD while also clashing with the clique's new leader, Heather Duke. And the musical version's pretty similar. The only major difference that I can think of is that Veronica doesn't start off friends with the Heathers clique. She kind of joins them fairly early in the musical, and then that's how the rest ensues. She's actually friends originally with the character we're going to be focusing on today, which is Martha Dunstock. So let's talk a little bit about Martha. She is quiet, afraid, shy, and emotionally bruised. Martha is a sensitive girl who dreams of loving and being loved, but instead she is shunned and mistreated by others and too afraid to stand up for herself. She is a constant target for severe and relentless bullying due to her being overweight. Okay, so first I want to talk about the difference between the movie version and the musical version and the reason why I'm talking about both. So in the movie, Martha is barely a character, to be honest. She's mostly there to be made fun of. And she has one line at the very end of the movie, and that's it. That's all she has. Whereas in the musical, Still definitely a background character, but she has a few more lines and she even has a whole song to herself. So I thought, if I just talk about the movie, there's not going to be much to talk about. So I figured, why not combine both, because they're the same storyline and the same type of character pretty much. So there are a few more differences between the movie and the musical Martha that I do want to talk about. So in the movie, she dresses down more. She wears a lot of neutrals, kind of tight fitting a little bit, but not in it's an intentional way, more in like, I can't find clothes that fit me properly way. It's just, it's rough. And she just looks kind of dull. Whereas in the musical, she wears bulkier clothes, like sweaters, like the classic 80s sweater. And then she is very colorful. She has like a side pony with a scrunchie and these cute glasses. So she's definitely cuter, in my opinion, I guess, in the musical version, but she still doesn't dress anything like the Heathers, who are in, mini skirts and long knee-high socks and heels and all this other stuff. So it's still a contrast to the popular girls, but I definitely like Martha's look in the musical more than the movie. One thing that remains the same in both the musical and the movie is how much Martha is relentlessly made fun of for her weight. The fat phobia it's there, and it's obvious. They write letters to her pretending to be this boy that they know that she has a crush on. They call her a pig, they call her Shamu, they call her Martha Dump Truck, and everyone joins in on it. I don't think there's one character. And, well, I guess, I don't know. JD's not a good person, but I don't remember him saying it. But most everyone calls her these things. She's very isolated from people. In the movie, she's just isolated the whole time. It's very obvious that she doesn't have any friends, that people just are mean to her. And in the musical, she starts off being friends with Veronica. Then Veronica quickly becomes a Heather and then kind of forgets about Martha and plays into this role of being the mean girl and forgetting her friend because she can't be friends with the fat girl if she's going to be popular. It's a whole thing. And then, trigger warning right here. Because of all this relentless bullying, Martha does attempt sewer slide. I'm going to call it that just because I don't want this video to get taken down. But she does commit that act. Luckily, she is not successful. But because she's not successful, Heather Duke says, just another loser trying to imitate the popular people and failing miserably. So she doesn't even care about the fact that Martha has tried to commit this act because of people like her who are constantly making fun of her. She's like, she was just trying to be popular and she just couldn't do it, even in that, which is absolutely disgusting. And another thing I noticed is I feel like her reasoning for doing that is different in the movie than it is in the musical. In the movie, I think she realizes, hey, these popular kids are doing this and people are talking about them. They're missing them. They're noticing them even more than before. So maybe if I do it, people will finally notice me. Whereas in the movie, I think it's out of a desperation of just feeling alone because she's lost her childhood best friend. And not only has she lost that friend has turned into the mean girl. So it's probably not probably, it's very hard. If you're a girl, you know how intense high school and grade school and junior high girl friendships can be, and even more how intense they can be when they end. I had one end in high school, and I was like so depressed, and it was just a bad time. So I can definitely relate to her in that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was how these fat characters are always in the background. They don't have much detail or much backstory. And they're always specifically a fat character because they are referenced as fat. But what that means is that fat person can only play that character. And you're probably thinking, Kara, I thought that's what this podcast is for, is to fight for more fat representation. And it absolutely is. But that's different than having fat characters that are specifically fat because it's mentioned in the script. Because it's in a derogatory way. And to be honest, we need more roles that they will let us play as fat people. That doesn't have to mention us being fat. Because if someone like me wanted to audition for Heathers, we would only be considered for Martha. I don't even think I would be considered for the ensemble. Because why would they put the biggest girl on stage in the background or in a different role than Martha when Martha is the character that is made fun of for being the biggest girl in school? Like, casting wise, it doesn't make sense, unfortunately. And so, yeah, we just need more roles that, our leads are, or are at least decently written side characters even. I'll even take that for now. That have nothing to do with fatness. That just happen to be fat and they exist because, at least I hope for all of you, and, this is what my experience is. I might get the occasional fat-phobic comment, mostly online, not in person. But, I'm not constantly bombarded with it every day. And I feel like a lot of fat characters are, and it's just, to the extreme. And also, we don't need to see that reflected back. We understand that that's happening. We need to see more uplifting fat characters, and this isn't it. So when it comes to saying negative or positive, I'm gonna have to give Martha negative for fat representation. I just think between her not standing up for herself and the fat-phobic comments that I have to give it a negative. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the movie or the musical. It just means that this specific character, I think it is negative. In Thick or Stick, I definitely think Thick, both the off-Broadway and the original movie Martha are both plus size, but I have seen some pictures of some Marthas that are not plus size, which I'm assuming mostly are from high school productions. We don't need that. It's like having a skinny Tracy Turnblad. That makes zero sense. Please don't do that. Please and thank you. That's all for this episode. I know it was kind of short for our first episode back, but stay tuned for next week, which is our Halloween episode. I'm very excited. We have our first guest of the season, so you'll have to stay tuned to figure out who that is. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at bbb.podcast and TikTok at bbb.thepodcast. On Instagram, you'll get a lot of information about who the upcoming guest is, what the upcoming episode will be focused on, and I also have a highlight for inclusive fashion brands. If you're interested in that, you can always go check that out. I have their so you can go to their Instagram page, or I just have a direct link to their website, so feel free to use that. You can also follow me, your host, on TikTok and Instagram at Carolina Howie. And please be sure to rate us 5 stars on here, share, do all the things, because I really want this podcast to continue to reach a bigger and bigger audience. So anyway, until next time, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.